Mm. 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 Try it now. Oh, it was working. Try it. Yeah. Okay. We had to turn her audio on, but we got to make sure everybody else's audio is off. Okay. Everybody else is off. We can get on too. This is the last thing will come out next right.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I just
And I wanted to fact. You guys have been to my they had so much fun. You know, we've been
Looks perfect.
not trained on.
You have to turn everybody off.
Never know.
Surgery now on epidural.
There's a chair. This is this is her power.
It's more of the beginning of and now this is the yeah. He's frustrated. Can't do anything.
Somebody back in the office number was like, you know,
It is tough. But I know Carol that's enough hot water to be. Yeah. Well, you actually have like. Sorry.
No, it's down to a quarter.
Yeah, I'm done.
Who's on?
Randy,
Donna, me, Janelle, so Dan's on. Julio.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie Hay. Okay. So we are. Look at that. He was doing a good job there.
Money stops and get on the top.
2 minutes.
They get on the top. True. Yeah. My kids are.
Yeah, we had a chair now, I guess.
Yeah.
I see a couple of people. Rest. Carrying a package.
Like that, they had
Yeah, much of report.
My report is, hey, I sent this out. Any questions? No, that's. Where's the block? There's no problem. Well, back then.
Yeah, I've seen her.
My phone, like, feel the thing was like.
Save mind. 10 o'clock. Give it a minute.
I've got 959 over there. So these things are not all.
Usually feel the phone get a buzz. It doesn't.
So we're turning the lights on to make sure that everybody. Risky. Oh, that's.
I just turn the mic on.
Yeah.
I threw myself in there and I have to do all that.
I'll ask Dan and Kathy if they can hear us.
This little guy, I want to.
Dan, can you hear us?
It was hot. I thought like that. I was almost turned on.
Kathy, can you hear us?
Unmute Kathy.
Unmute Kathy.
Katie Haig.
Katie Haig.
That's just a thought.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Well, actually, it's right there.
It's a different year.
All right, it's a little after 10, so we'll get this thing going. Call to order, we're here. We have a quorum. Kathy and Dan are on the video, and Chris couldn't make it. But we have the four of us. We have established a quorum of directors.
First one, this is mailed.
Yeah, everything has been mailed out electronically. It's been posted at the building, so the notices and everything are the way it's supposed to be. We send it out 48 hours in advance. That's the requirement for a meeting. Unless you're voting on something, then it has to go out 2 weeks in advance. All right. I'm going to approve the minutes of the last meeting. That was just the election meeting. Can I have a motion to approve them?
That's correct.
That's corrected. We had a misspelling.
I'll move that the minutes of the February 14th Board of Directors meeting, which was to organize the board, be approved.
Dan or Kathy, want a second?
Dan accepted it. I'm sorry not.
Okay. All right. Next up is the finance.
All in favor?
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do financial update. Harold's going to take care of that.
Okay. The latest report that we have is from the 28th of February. The March report hasn't been transmitted to us from Star Management. We're all in the black. All of the various line items are within the yearly budget. So we'll keep on trucking and keep monitoring what we've got there. Are there any questions? None. Thank you very much.
Okay. Updates to the projects that's been going on. You need a chair? There's a chair up here.
You don't chairs in there.
A couple chairs up front, right over there. Okay. Everybody hear me? All right. At the clubhouse where we are right now, we have new floors, new cabinets, and it was all supplied by the social committee. They've done a tremendous job raising money, and it all goes back into the community, such as the floors, the cabinets. They've got a couple of things that they've done, and I want to thank them for that. It's been a tremendous thing. We'll be having a new committee. We'll be talking about that in a little while. In the Anderson house, all the new gym equipment is in. Everything you see there, that's the limit. We got all the new machines in. They just brought in 2. They took out the step climber, brought in a new weight machine and another treadmill. So those were the 2 machines that we talked and were told that were used the most, and people sometimes were waiting to use them. So when we got rid of the Stairmaster, which was the most expensive thing we had, I was able to negotiate to get 2 other machines. So the gym is finished. Hope everybody enjoys it. From what I see, and there's a lot of people using it. The shop over there is basically finished. I want to thank everybody that helped over there. Mainly guys like Jamie, our maintenance man, who was very good with electric. He did a lot of electric work. Jamie and Chip and Kenny were helping us put the walls up. I got to really thank Dennis Reed. He was the one that was mainly working with me every day to get the project finished. He was a huge help. Dan was out there with us all the time. Everybody that volunteered to help work on those projects got them projects done and saved us a lot of money by doing that ourselves. All we had was materials. As you can see, we took down the room that was out front, the lanai. We redid the wall, put new metal up on the wall to cover that up. We put up some lights, Dusk to Dawn lights on the front of it, and those guys were, immensely helpful with all that. There's the entranceway going, the sunroom. I call it the sunroom, going into you actually go through the door into the library and into the rec room, then into the gym. The sunroom is basically finished now. You can start going through that. We opened it up yesterday. We put a epoxy floor in there, a new ramp, finished the walls, had to re-drywall the walls and the ceiling. We took a bunch of electric out that wasn't needed, and it's basically finished, except for I'm going to get some window dressings. By taking that sunroom or that lanai room off, created a lot of heat in there because now we don't have a shade. That thing was shading the whole front window. So we're going to get some window dressings that go across the whole room. Also, I'm meeting with an air conditioning gentleman that used to be air conditioned. That was the air conditioner you saw out front by the office. That was the air conditioner that cooled the sunroom. That got destroyed. The air handlers up in the attic. We were looking at maybe we didn't need that. The fans would do enough, but by taking that room off, it's not doing it. So we're looking at putting some kind of air conditioning back in there. So that covers the Anderson house. Everything up there is basically done now. I don't know if you noticed, but we had to put in 2 new front doors on the where you walk into the sunroom. Those are brand new also because they were rotted out on the bottom. So we had to put a new set of doors in there. There's a little bit of work to be done yet, some stucco work up front that has to be done. And then when it gets painted, when the painters come in, the whole thing will be painted the way it'll all look brand new. The shuffleboard courts have been resealed. Here's a good one for you. I've signed the contract, and there'll be new lights on the tennis courts within probably 2 weeks. So they'll be going. As I've said, we always said that we'd take care of that, but it just wasn't high on the priority list. We had to see how much money we had because none of that stuff is hurricane insured. So while we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We got some pricing in on that, and it works out that we can get that taken care of. So what they're going to do is take off the lights that are up there. and redo them with LED lights. So it should look pretty good. You've noticed signs around the lake, new pavers at the pool. The trees have been trimmed. And the trees have been trimmed. All that stuff has been done because the insurance company now requires that. They come in and assess your property and tell you what's wrong and what has to be fixed. Gave us a 30-day timeline. We didn't hit that, but they said it was okay. But we were mandated to do that. We said, what if we don't do it? Well, then you lose your insurance. Can't have that happen. So we took care of all that. Also, the painters, when they, in the contract, they require everything to be 18 inches away from the building. So we had the landscapers, the ones we hire, they did their hard cut in the past week or two and trimmed everything back from the building 18 inches. The volunteer landscaping crew, which did a tremendous job this year, we had a couple of days where we had something like 14 to 17 people. I hope that continues on because that's a big thing. When we had the big group, we did the walls. The walls were overgrown from completely around the corner at the Anderson house. We've got that trimmed back. You can walk through there. For the painters, they have to have that. We went down the other wall with the new house that's going up on the stilts. That wall was a mess. That was overgrown. Plus, it was a dumping ground for that house. There was coffee makers back there. There was garbage back there. There was bottles back there. You know, we cleaned it all up, trimmed the trees all back to the end of the wall. We talked with the painters the other day, and they said, yep, everything's okay the way they wanted it. They will be coming in probably beginning of August, hopefully. They have several schools that they have to have done before the kids go back to school. Kids go back to school sometime, I think, second week of August or something like that. So they'll be in here August, September. They figure it'll take
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
No, 8 to 10 weeks.
No,
I'll check my notes.
he dropped it back to 6 to 8, I thought.
Did he? He may have.
So anyways, it's going to be 2 months. They'll start on one building at a time and progress out. We'll let you know what buildings are going to be on. For the people that'll be leaving, if you want, you can leave your shutters up. The maintenance people will put them down if anything's going to happen. They have to go up for the painting. So for each building as it's coming up, the maintenance crew will go make sure that all the shutters are up. But if you want to, you can leave them up now, and then once your building's painted, the maintenance crew will put them back down. Leave your electric, if your shutters are electric and you have remote control, leave that on your kitchen counter, along with if you with your car keys. If you have a car here in case something we have to move the car, leave that on the kitchen counter also.
We'll be doing that because they're going to do the carports too. Pressure washer carports.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, you got to leave your keys there because the painters, in their painting process, are also going to clean the inside of the carports. They're going to steam clean the roofs of the carports. So your car, you don't want your car there when they're working. So the maintenance crew will have to move that. But they'll also, if you leave your windows up, they'll put them down. If you don't have them up, they're going to come in, raise your windows when your building is up. Any questions so far? Okay. Committees, the social committee, as you read, Janice and Janelle have resigned from that. I think there was like 11 years for Janice and 9 years for Janelle. I believe Sue McKean is taking it over. Is she here? Oh, hi, Sue. Okay, stand up. That's Sue McKean. She'll be taking over the social club. Yeah. So if Sue, I'm assuming you're going to have to set up like a committee for secretary and stuff like that. So if you want to be on that social club committee, see Sue. She'll take care of that. Coming up this fall, probably October, November, we're going to need a new head chairman for the art committee. My wife Judy handles that right now, but she's giving that up come the fall. The art committee, ARC, Architectural Review Committee. She will help whoever is looking to take that over. She'll walk them through it, show you what you need to know about. There's quite a bit there. It's an important job. It's not a pleasant job because you have to tell people no. And nobody likes to be told no. So there's a lot of things, and the only thing that committee does is make sure that our rules and regulations and documents are followed. People don't like that. So if you can't tell people no, then I don't suggest you get on that committee. The other two members of that committee are Dennis Hale and Bill Demmer. They both said they would stay on. But neither one of them want to chair it. So they're going to be the needed chair. They're good people to work with. So get a hold of Judy sometime, but you got all summer to think about it. We need a new chair for the landscapers. We still have the original, basically, landscapers that volunteer for that committee, but nobody really wants to chair it. We had Micah. Micah gave it up. So we'll be looking for a new chair for the landscape committee. Alex is the chair for the dockyard. Basically, the committee is anybody that owns a slip. You know, you're on that committee, basically. Alex is looking at, when he gets back in the fall, we'll do a yard cleanup because where the boats are and everything else, we can't, get in there to clean the whole thing up. Once they finish up, then we'll be able to get in there and clean that up and then reassign the spaces. Right now, we just got everybody kind of crammed in. Some new boats have showed up, and I'm sure there's going to be some more new boats showing up. So hopefully by the time we get more boats in, the fence will be down and we'll be able to have our yard back. On the dock is really coming along. Alex posted it. Him and I went out there the other day. I took him out there, and he took a couple of pictures, and they're on the social book page. The dock is unbelievable. It's coming along great. Harold and I went out last night, and you're not going to believe the way this thing is built. Now it's a lot higher than it was before. I believe it's higher than what they told us they were going to make it, but they were building it according to the engineers' drawings and the Corps of Engineers' suggestions or comments. The main walk going out, 6 feet wide, and it's probably, I'm thinking now it's about 2.5 feet higher than it was before. It goes out to the first bump out, which was the bench. Second bump out is the tiki hut, which will now have it doesn't have it yet, but it will have a hipped roof, 4 ways, all metal. Then after that's going to be the fish cleaning station bump out. And then from there to where you make the turn to the boats, that ramps down 1 foot. Nice gradual ramp all the way from the fish cleaning station down to the corner there. And then it goes to the right and keeps going straight there. Now that's down supposedly 1 foot. They actually, because they built it a little higher than before, it started out with that the finger docks, the docks you use to get to your boat, were up almost 2 feet. We said you couldn't do that, couldn't have that, because you couldn't climb underneath your lift to get onto your boat. They came back and they lowered those about 14 inches. And you now have a step down, which is an easy step down.
Easy step.
To get to your boat. Your boat now, the boat slip finger is now back within inches of where it was before. But it's 14 inches below the actual walkway. They're building nice stairs to step down and get on your slip. There's going to be a lot more lights out there. Right in the beginning, they put one right up at the top where you come up the ramp. As you're coming up the ramp and then flattens out to go straight, they put a light there because they thought, obviously, you should have light to let you know that you're coming down to a ramp. I wanted another light at the end because as people are coming down the pathway, they want to see what's out there before they walk there. So I had them put another light right at the end of the dock. The dock is now straight. It doesn't widen out because they went up so high that if they kept bringing it back and widening it out, it'd be as wide as the path. There was actually no reason for it to be widened out. You walk up the path and you go onto the dock. I don't know why it was ever built that way, but we decided to build it straight back because it came back another 13 feet because it was that high. It's kind of be like they got it built it somewhat according to handicap regulations. So to get it back to a gentle slope, they had to come back another 13 feet. So we just had decided to go with a straight dock. It's 6 feet wide, straight up and out. That allows access to that little beach, which is now a little bit bigger than it was before. They had to clear some stuff there to get their machines to the water, to get the poles out, get the poles in. So in order to be able to keep that and use that, we went straight. So we have a nice, and we're gonna have a nicer, bigger beach. Right now, it's not so pretty because all the black sludge that's on the bottom of the harbor is floating into our docks, and it stinks. It's all slime down there right now. Hopefully, we get a storm or something, they'll take it away. With it being that high, is a good benefit for us because the surge has got to come up that much more to get to it. We used to have just some heavy windstorms out there, and the water would overflow the dock. You'd be walking in water as you're, walking around out there. That'll be almost non-existent because it's 2.5 feet higher. So I don't think you're going to see that much. Maybe at your boat slips because they're down that low, but for the rest of it, it's up. It's all going to be up high, and it's a good thing for us. They're using all 3x10 lumber, where before it was 2x8s. They've got 5 stringers on the 6 foot wide dock that are 3 foot by 10 foot. We had 3 2x8s. Poles are in the ground much deeper than they were before. They're a lot bigger pole. There'll be a composite handrail like we had before. I mean, all the way around, it's. I mean, when you just look at the pictures that Alex posted, you'll get an idea of what it looks like, and it's just fantastic. It's going to be great. Is it going to be done by the 15th? No. Is it going to be done by the end of the month? He says yes. I say no. I see a lot of work out there. They're out there. They're working. They're really moving. I see improvements, big improvements every time I go out there, but I just don't see it being completed. I was hoping to have it completed before I left to go up north. I'm not so sure that's going to happen. He could surprise me. He could bring in. I mean, he brought in 2 other crews, so they got quite a few people working back there. The electricians are working back there. The plumber's got most of his work as far as he could go. But the electrician's out there putting up lights and running wires. Finally, FPL brought in a new transformer. That's there. It's not hooked up, but it's there. So all in all, the dock is coming along great. Granted, it's taken a lot more time, but in taking more time was a good thing because Harold and I have been moving that money around from CD to CD to CD every 4 weeks. And by them taking longer, we've been able to move that money around without giving them money, and we've been earning quite a bit of interest. So there's been some extras, so the interest is helping out with that. Any questions on the dock?
Where's that power station going to be located? You said the transformer.
The transformer's where it was.
Just higher.
They were supposed to raise it. All they did was dig around their concrete. The guy asked me when I was talking to him, he says, "There's a pad back there, right?" I said, "Well, I think there's a pad, but you can't see it." Well, they dug around it and exposed the 6-inch pad. Doesn't do anything because that gets flooded over anyways. Tried to talk him into raising it. The gentleman I was talking to said, yes, that should be done, but it doesn't appear to me that it was done. So hope for the best. The electrician, the old wooden rack that was there, he has now put in a stainless steel rack. Cleaned up all the stuff that was on it, got it down to like it should be a panel box, a meter. That'll be it.
Meter's on the standard,
Yeah.
its own
Yeah.
The stand has 2 lights on it, so that'll be lit up at all times. I mean, there's nothing out there that isn't over the top as far as building goes. I mean, they're just doing a tremendous job. We got no complaints about what they're doing, except for the time, but it's Florida. Any questions? Any more questions on the dock? Okay. Fence that's down there has been destroyed for a long time. We've got enough money in our hurricane, because the fence, again, isn't covered by insurance. We have some money left over in the Ian account, so we're going to use that to repair the fence from the dock all the way up to about to where the construction fence is that they have. All that from that all the way down is all pushed over and bent. It's a lot of broken poles, so we're going to get that fixed and have that done. Getting prices on that right now. Let's see. The only other thing I got, there's a pile of mulch back there. Please do not take it. It's for a special project that we didn't get to. So we'll get to it this fall. So it's earmarked and counted for that project we have in mind. Any questions on anything?
What color is that? Are they gonna paint the buildings?
How are they gonna?
What color?
Same color they are. What we did is I gave them a piece of the metal for the mansards and all these stuff, and asked them to change the brown to that brown. And they said they could, so that we won't have 2 or 3 different color browns. Everything is going to be the same brown, or as close as possible to the metal roofs you see. Then it'll be beige again, same as it was, but they're going to look at it's like white. There's 100 different whites, okay? Everybody has a different beige. We're using one manufacturer for the paint, which is Sherwin-Williams. So they're going to, on most of the people that have brand new shutters that they're beige, they're going to try to line it up with that beige, so that we'll have things looking pretty much the same all the way around. They will be painting your front door. So the maintenance men will open your front door. If you're living here, you'll get a knock. You leave your front door open. They'll paint it. You leave it open until it's dry. Every door is going to be painted. We'll have probably just about maybe a month before they start, we'll have a pre-start meeting with them to go over everything. Talk to them about plants. We asked them about when they clean, because when they clean, they pressure wash. They use a mild bleach. So our concern was about the vegetation around in your courtyards. And they said they come in and they hose everything down. They spray, do their thing, and then they come back and they hose everything back down again. They say they have no problem with vegetation with that. My suggestion to you is if you have little pots and little plants out there that you might really want, when they come to your building to do your building, move those. Bring them inside or something. I wouldn't leave them out there because these guys aren't spraying, they're brush and roller. The buildings will be brushed and roller. So there's going to be ladders, scaffolding, whatever, lifts. So if there's stuff in the courtyards that can possibly get broken, I would move it when they come to do your building.
Tell them who the painter is. Florida Painter. I told him that.
All right, we've decided to go with Florida Painters. That's the company that's painting it. That's the company that painted it the last time. They were the only company that come back and honored their price. Last year we got prices, and we went back to them this year, because we had to wait. And they were the only one that came back and honored their price for the next year. The other prices were higher. We went with them because we felt they did a really good job last time. They know the property well. The gentleman that was here before. And they're looking forward to doing it. And like I said, it's going to be rollered and brushed, not sprayed. Any questions?
Yes, go ahead. Last time they painted, they put an offer out to owners for the lanais.
That's going to be the same thing. If you want your lanai painted the color of the building, The small ones are $250.
Well, you know,
He's gonna relook at the price. The price is like $250, and they will come in when they're doing your building. They'll come in and do the lanai for anybody in that building that wants their lanai painted. They'll paint it for like $250.
he has different prices depending on the size of the lanai.
You know, the ones that got, well, there's only a few wraparound, but the end ones are usually bigger than the ones in the middle. So the ones in the middle, don't quote me. I'm going to say like 250 and then 275 or 3, something like that for the bigger ones. We'll verify that when we have the other meeting.
They'll actually send a notice out to everyone making that offer. So then it's a choice for the owners.
And
When you're talking lanai, you're talking just the walls or walls and ceiling.
we'd have to talk. Then we just talked walls. We didn't say anything about the ceiling, but I'm sure we can talk to them and see what that is. But we got to see what their price covers. If it's just the walls, well, it might be a little bit more for them to do the ceiling. So.
The shutters now, where the shutter rolls up into, if yours are white now, are those gonna be painted?
No, they can't. They will not paint the shutters because they're not taking a chance of
They
something.
will paint the box. Though.
The box, the box that rolls up into,
Yeah.
they paint that, but they will not
No,
paint the
that's-
shutter. They
That's
won't
what I'm
paint.
talking about the blocks.
Yeah, the box will be painted the color of the building,
Alright.
but the shutters will not be touched. They can't take the
Right.
chance of them not working after they paint them or seal them shut or whatever.
Thank you.
Carol,
The electrical room and the dumpster room doors, are they included in the building 2 storage room doors?
I'll back up a bit. We also, according to the elevator people, we had to change out our elevator doors. They don't meet code anymore.
The maintenance room door.
The maintenance door that's a metal door that's on the elevator shaft that goes into the maintenance room for the elevator. That's the only doors they care about. Those are scheduled to be changed out by June. They are painting the other doors. Actually, when we had the guy come in and look at doors, we had a door guy come in after the elevator. People told us they had to do that. We're out of code. And basically, all the doors are out of code. So we're starting with the elevator doors. They gave us prices for the other doors also, but we'll look at that as we go down the road, see how much money is around, and go there. There's nobody telling us we had to, except the elevator people said we had to. The door guy that came to give us a price on that, we had him look at all the doors, and he said you're out of code as far as handles go. Some of the doors, the 2 doors here in the bathrooms for the pool are pretty rusted, got holes. A couple of them have holes in them. So that's why we're changing those things out. We're renegotiating the bathroom doors. We don't understand why they're coming in so high. They're coming in higher than the elevator doors, and they're both steel doors. So, anything on painting or anything, Kathy?
How do they protect the screens, the lanai screens when painting?
Well, they really don't have to worry too much about that because if they were spraying, they would tape them off. But with rolling and brush painting, I'm sure they're just painting. I'm sure they'll take care, they'll take caution not to get anything on them, I guess. But they won't be taping them off if they were spraying, they would take plastic and tape it over the whole thing. I've seen that on other buildings. But since they're doing rollers and brushing, I don't believe they'll do that. We really didn't talk about that, but I'm sure the way they would do it, they would just maybe tape off the edge and then paint up to the edge, something like that.
Carol, do you remember when Florida painters were here last time? What did they do with the screens?
I'm sorry, do I remember?
When Florida painters were here
Yes,
previous
Florida
time.
painter.
and they painted, did they cover the screens? They did cover the screens?
I believe they covered anything that they thought would be in harm's way. They were very, very specific in how they handled each of the buildings and weather elements, everything.
So whether they'll do the same thing or not, we don't know.
Right.
That was 12 years ago. But I'm sure, talking with this company, they'll take all precautions.
What a question worth asking.
Yeah. We'll bring that up at the meeting when we have the meeting.
That'd be great.
Anybody else? Anything? That pretty much wraps up everything we got going here. Anybody got any questions about anything we missed? Mark?
Yeah, quick question. I was wondering, so it's good news, right, on the budget, which we did a budget, that's great news. 70% of that.
Just stand up, Mark.
70% of that budget, we don't control, right? Law, insurance, and
Yeah.
hurricane, so, but there's a small percentage that we do control. And it requires sometimes difficult decisions, so I'm just wondering, when is the formal bill of the budget? And who can get involved to help?
We start working on the budget basically in October.
October?
Yeah, because the main runners of the budget, insurance and all that, they don't get quotes until basically December.
Yeah, no, I understand.
We have to go to every other vendor, electric, water,
Yeah.
all the other ones, to find out what their prices and their increase is gonna be. And that usually takes quite a bit of time to get answers back from that.
Yeah, so if you guys look for volunteers, I'm happy to help.
Yeah, okay. All right, no other questions? Oh, go ahead.
I'm in 645 and my windows don't open. Am I responsible for the cranking up the window?
Yes.
I,
You are.
okay. So I have to call a company.
You have to call a window tune company to come and look at that.
Okay.
We thought for sure through the study that we had to go through that they would be taking care of this. I mean, the association would take care of the windows. And we thought that we would be made to take care of that. Now the windows are 41 years old or something like that.
Okay.
They came back and said they got another 18 years to go before they're bad. Yeah, well, I don't believe any window there is going to last another 18 years. So, I mean, we'll see where that goes. But right now, anything, if something happened from the outside, like a lawnmower guy threw a rock or something through winds, then the association takes care of it. Anything from the inside, trying to raise them. If they don't raise, you got to call somebody and they get them unstuck or whatever. The cranks, you got to call somebody to get the cranks. A lot of them, the cranks don't work. On mine, when it's windy, my curtains move, because the seals don't stay shut. So all kinds of stuff like that is going on. Anything else?
Hey, Dan, go back to painting. You mentioned the trim is gonna be trying to match the new Mansard roofs.
Right.
Mansard. They're not gonna paint the windows out the exterior.
No, they won't be painting the
So
windows.
all the windows will be out there.
Yeah, well, the windows are all, right now, there's some windows that have the white lines coming down from their shutters, and those are staying. Those could possibly be painted, but I'm sure it'd be a really big, high price for them to do that.
So what trim are they doing? Dark brown.
All the trim that's on the buildings. Your soffit, your man, yeah, okay. Anything that was painted brown will be painted. This whole building underneath is painted. It'll be now matching. And the color, that when we picked the color for the roofs, we got pretty close to the color that was here on the buildings. So it's
It should go.
yeah, I don't think you're gonna see hardly any difference, okay?
Bless you.
Bless you.
All right, next year, going into next year, we have 3 board members that'll be coming off in February. So people should be thinking about getting on. I'm sure you've heard, I have bought a house. I'm leaving Rose Landing. I'll be on the board until have to get off the board because until my place sells. If my place doesn't sell, I'm not giving it away. If my place doesn't sell, I'll be renting it. So I'll be on the board until February, unless it sells, which I highly doubt it. The way things are going around here. But people should be thinking about the board for next year because 3 people are getting off. You're only going to have Harold and Kathy on. It's going to be a tough step to step in to the presidency. No one on the board here. Kathy is too new to know anything. Harold's not going to take on. He's doing a phenomenal job on treasurer. So somebody's going to come on the board, and when you do the reorganization at the meeting, somebody's going to have to be the president. So It'd be good. It's always nice to have full-time members doing this because they're here all the time. I have been the last 3 years in contact. When I go home, I'm in contact with Harold and the Cam, whoever it is. And right now it's Barb. Every day they're here. And then Harold and I talk constantly all the time. So we're always doing something for the community. It's not if you're going to get on the board and you go back north, it doesn't end. It stays there. You get calls every other day, every day, sometimes 3 times a day. The job doesn't end when you go home. I've had a couple of people thought that that's what happens, but it doesn't. It follows you everywhere you go. Okay.
You've had to fly down a few times.
I've flown down a couple of times for different things, but that was because it was projects, when we had the construction project and stuff like that. I may have to come back to the dock because I don't want to make the final payment until I know it's done the way we want it done. If it gets into, I'm hoping they're going to push it and get it done, then I don't have to do that. But it's just that if you want to get on the board, I'd like to, we have now, Dan went home for the winter. We got him on Zoom. We got Kathy on Zoom. She's only here a few weeks at a time. Dave was here a few weeks at a time, and he was on Zoom, or whenever he could be, he was here. But it doesn't end when you go home. So if you're serious about getting on it, start thinking about it now. Because for sure 3 people are coming off the board next year. Anything else?
Any update on the SIRS report?
We're still in negotiation with them. We just supplied them with all our questions and answers, or our questions and comments that we had about what they did, and they haven't got back to us yet.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Have we heard anything back on the Sears report? And we haven't gotten back that since we sent them the last bit of information. So we're still waiting for that to come through. So as soon as we get that information, I'll pass it on to you. Same as the infamous Harborview Road project. There's no new news on that. They say it's going to go on. It's been going on for 6-7 years now. So as soon as we hear from the eminent domain lawyer about any new news, we'll pass it on to you. And the same thing, as soon as we hear about the Sears, we're expecting the next thing we hear from them is going to be another Zoom meeting set up that we go over everything or hear what they have to say about our comments, what we did, and then go from there. And you'll be the first to know as soon as we do.
We're required by law to, once we accept the Sears report back, because this is a revised Sears, we'll have to distribute that information to the owners like we did before. So
yeah, so once we're done with it, and they finalize and accept or reject what we propose, then we'll let you know about that.
basically it's reducing the what we've already put on your maintenance fee for Sears. We're getting them to say yes, yea, verily, it's correct, because our painting price was the only thing we had.
Sealed roads.
Okay. The painting that they had in the Sears requirement was the only thing we had for 2026, and they had $330,000 for 5 buildings. 5. We had $182,000 for 6 residential buildings. There's a disconnect there somewhere.
From the painter. The painter gave us a
Painter.
quote.
That's the price we're paying right now to Florida Painters. There's other things in there, additional dollars. So the total contract with Florida Painters is higher than just that because of the clubhouse and Anderson House and all that. But it was less than 50% for the 5 Sears buildings with the elevators. Doesn't impact building 10 because you don't have an elevator. Thank you very much. So we went to them and said, hey, to do the calculation to come up with the dollar amount that they said we had to have on deposit at the end of the year, we came up with a calculation, and that's what we put into the maintenance fee for everyone that's in 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And, well, our attorney said we had to get them to, the engineers had to say, yeah, yea, verily, you're right. We agree with that. So we had to give them supporting documentation.
The lawyer agreed with us.
He said it's logical, but
The state says we have to have the blessing of the engineer.
we have to have the engineers say, yes, we agree with that. And we've gone back and forth just from a logic standpoint. Where do you get these dollar amounts? Because we live in Charlotte County, Florida. It has a certain setup. We are adjacent to Lee County. We're adjacent to DeSoto and Sarasota County. Each of those have different dollar values for how they do work. And they said, well, this is a national number. Atlanta, New York City, Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois. We don't know where it comes from. They have some place that they get that information, and it's accepted by the state. So they're using the numbers that they're given. But then when we come up with, we have a contract, we have an estimate and a contract, folks, that's less common sense. And we didn't feel comfortable charging you what they said we needed to charge. All I'd be doing is putting excess money into the account.
That's absolutely the right thing to work. And I'm glad you do.
Well,
That's
it,
exactly right.
and then
And the only thing is, it costs us $3,000 to talk to them.
So we'll give you 6 and then you agree with that number.
Jack,
Well, what's the penalty if we just put our wrong figures in?
They haven't come back with that
Is
yet.
there a penalty?
that's an unknown because we're in really untested ground as far as the Sears world is concerned. You remember when the collapse of, and then they implemented all of this stuff. The engineers and architects were involved with coming up with the logic for why you have to do this. But I don't think they got into the detail of construction method of the building. That Surfside was more of a stick built than a concrete block building. It was a lot higher than we are. We're concrete block with stucco on the outside. And when they've looked at us, there hasn't been any issue that's a structural issue. So, and we're older than they are. So, but it's the government's idea is if somebody got hurt, we got to protect everybody, and we're going to do it in whatever way we think is best. And it's so everybody gets penalized, and without any regard to reality. And they were trying to go 6 stories or higher, and they didn't get that done. I wish that was the case, that it had gone that way, would have made our life simpler. But anyway.
So basically, they said when that building collapsed, they boilerplated it and said every building's the same way. And we're saying we're not. We're trying to fight that. Like Harold said, they went to 6, then they came back and they said they were going to talk about going to 5. They didn't do that either. When we redid the numbers the way we thought they should be done, we also are hoping that we have another session coming up that maybe they'll change something and it'll be in our favor. So in the meantime, we're stuck with what we got. We're trying to get them to see what we did and agree to what we did. And if it does, it stays the same until the next round. Now in 10 years, you have to have the whole thing done again. So it's going to cost about another $30,000 to do the whole thing again. But that's the rule. Anything else on that?
So there is no new legislation right now,
There's nothing out there right
like
now.
there was about a year.
No.
No.
The organization we belong to lets us know everything that's going on and what's going in. There's nothing. They've come up with nothing right now. Yeah.
Are we communicating with our local politicians that is passing these ridiculous things? Is Star Management
Star Management.
now a person that's talking, or?
Well, Star Management is in the CIA group that we're in, CAI group that we're in. And they are in communication with them at all times.
I mean,
So the CIA group is the one that's working for us with the legislators.
To me, the people that are electing these politicians, somehow, some way, needs to start for the whole state of Florida. Start getting a message to these people that's passing some of these ridiculous laws.
I agree with you, but I don't know how
And
you.
I know you can't do nothing about it. I can't either, but vote.
That's why we joined a group that has influence. Matter of fact, a couple of them are on the board, right?
Yeah, Leslie's on the board.
Leslie's on the board. So we have people fighting for us and Star's other 150 organizations. So we have a big organization working for us, and they have a lot of people underneath them.
And they do have a lobbyist. They have Travis. He's a lobbyist of Tampa. And he is contracted with CAI. So he is up in Tallahassee. The Becker Law Firm has several attorneys that are also lobbyists that are up there. So there's quite a few people involved in this. But if they don't bring it to the table, it originally was on the agenda, but then when they finalized the agenda that they were going to work on, it was not on that agenda because I was following it.
One thing we did have when we did the veranda project, that ended up being a really good thing because they would have come up with that under this study, and we would have had to do that on top of everything else we had to do. So luckily that was done, and when they went around and sound tested the buildings and everything, we passed. We basically passed everything except the stairwell little fiasco, but ended up being we were right and they were wrong again. As far as the veranda project goes, that's set up to, and every 5 years the floor has to be readdressed, resealed or something. We were in communication with the engineering firm that handled that the first time, because we found out at the last meeting Harold and I were at, that you have to have it your 5 year, you can't go past your 5 year limit. So we talked to them right away because we're at the 5. I believe May is the 5 years. And he said, not a problem, since we brought it up and they're talking to us, and we put it back in their lap to take care of it. They'll get pricing on it. And the verandas, once they're checked and okayed by the manufacturer of the material that was used, and they were cleaned the way they were supposed to be cleaned, they will come in and redo the flooring. We'll let you know when that's going to happen. Hopefully it's done before the painting gets done. It'll be one of those things where either go away for a day or two or stay in your unit for a day or two because you're not going to be able to walk on that for 24 hours or better. Okay? But that's coming up also. I just thought of it. Now, any other questions? I think we covered everything we had. Go ahead, Frank.
Is there any rumor on the road construction? Any progress? Are they
Not a thing.
Are they not going to do it?
No, it's scheduled. They've already bought a couple properties, but they haven't scheduled or done anything. They haven't told us anything new.
They're doing a lot of surveying. You see all the flags out there. They've been on your property.
I'd love to have the money they spent in surveying the last 6 years.
3 years.
But, there's been nothing going. We contact our eminent domain lawyer, and he says as soon as we hear something, we'll let you know. So,
would you touch base on the gatehouse and why we've not done anything more because of the road project? Because that was emailed in to me.
Okay, the gatehouse, basically the last thing we saw, the right of way is coming up to within probably 5 feet of the front of the gatehouse. which is gonna take the driveway away. They're taking the turning lane, our turning lane into here, they're taking that away. Now, the other night I came in and I was the third car coming in, I was half in the street. But that's in our turning lane. Once that's gone and they back it up, we're only gonna get maybe a car and a half in the driveway, and they're gonna be backing up in the drive lane coming off the roundabout. That is one of the big things that we've been talking to the eminent domain lawyer with, about getting that changed over, going over to Melbourne if possible. If it goes over to Melbourne, the county's got to be involved, because it's going to have a, coming off of the roundabout, we're going to need, from what I can see, from being a road contractor, you're going to need a left-hand turn lane in the middle to get into Rose Landing. And coming down from 41, you're going to need a right-hand turn lane coming into it, so you're not blocking traffic. And you're going to need a right-hand lane exiting it, so you're not blocking traffic. Because right now, when anything comes in, any truck or anything like that comes in, they park the truck in the middle of the street, walk over, open our gates, and then go back, come in. You can't be doing that. Right now, we've had a few people, we even had a fire truck the other day when it came in for a rescue, went over island. If they cut it, if they're staying in the turning lane and trying to get in, they come up over our island, they've taken out the sprinkler heads, broke the sign. With a boat, you have to get out into the drive lane to make the turn into here. So that would have to go. I mean, once they do this project, anybody that owns a boat that leaves through a trailer with a boat on a trailer is going to have to use Melbourne. You know, there's just going to be no way you're going to turn in here when you try to come in here from Harborview. So the guardhouse, the gatehouse, is on the agenda to be fixed, because right now there's like 2 feet on the inside that where the water was. It was up 21 inches in there, so we took out 2 feet of drywall, and we haven't put that back yet. They got no problem. They don't care. But until we find out what's going on with the road job, it's going to affect, if you had to move that guardhouse back, well, then that leaves the Anderson house wide open. So until we know what they're doing with the road project, and then we actually know what's going on with the gatehouse, something will be done with the gatehouse and the gates and everything else. The last I saw, the original project where they were taking the whole wall down on Harborview. Now it's like, again, don't hold me to this, but it's like 250 feet back from the corner, back up Melbourne, back down Harborview. That section of wall is coming out. The corner is moving back onto our property about 35, 36 feet. And it'll be up to us to put a new wall up. But that's as much as we know, and that's why we're not doing anything or touching anything at the gatehouse, because there's no sense in spending money on something that we don't know what we're doing with. Any other questions? Somebody want to give me a...
Well, do you want to open it to?
Oh, I have.
Because,
Go ahead, Kathy.
Sorry, I do have one last question, and it relates to the Rolls Landing website. I understand you guys signed a new contract to get a website up and running. Can you?
We have a new...
Everybody about that a little bit?
Harold can talk about that.
We do have a new webmaster contractor for us. The website is operational right now, the current one. So what we're planning on doing is meeting with the contractor to do any upgrades that we need to do on that, just to improve it. But it is functional, so it's there. So
Yeah, it's there, but like, do we have plans to start to use it? Because it's a great design.
it's available. It's open right now. It's operational.
The new webmaster isn't, but the old website is.
Right, but we don't really use it, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Basically,
That's
what you
my
get.
question. Are we going to start to utilize it more as a community?
It can be used right now. So, one of the requirements that we have, this meeting, it's being recorded on Zoom. It will, a link will be posted on there. It won't be the previous meeting. I don't think has been up there yet, because we haven't met with the webmaster on figuring out how to get that link posted there. But yes, that's going to happen. There are already forms and stuff that are there that are available to you. if you need, ARC request form or, various other things that are there. So Barb and I've got, we're going to meet with the contractor, but we just haven't gotten a date. He was, having some medical issues when we got this converted, and, it was really a mess as far as I'm concerned, because it was going through our accounting system, which is called Enumerate, and through Star, because we went through them, and we weren't getting any service. They said you have to get a new version of this for your website, and the prices that they were quoting, and I can't cite you the numbers, but they were exorbitant. It's ridiculous. We got this one now. It's there. All we're going to do is just go and improve it, and then if there's things that you think we need to put on there or add or make it so that either open to just to the owners, or if it's something that we need to make open to the public.
I think for the owners.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Well,
website should just be for owners only, and information about the thing. It's not a publishing thing for taking pictures and posting them on that. It's just informational only. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
It's just informational only for owners. That's what the website should be for. The other Facebook page, that's where you post your pictures and other things, and anybody can be on that.
no.
But the website should just be for owners and for Rolls Landing information only.
There is an official Rolls Landing website or Facebook page that we know exists, but we haven't gotten control of that yet. That's one of the things. And I do know that someone on property has already established one Rolls Landing community that's available, and I assume you can go in and ask to be a friend of that. And I think it's a growing thing, and that's good if we can have that. But we got to find out about the Rolls Landing Condominium Association, Inc. Facebook page. We have not overcome that hurdle yet. And I think it was initiated back when Lisa Anderson was here. And so finding out where the controls are and who, the permissions where you can go in and make edits and all of that, we haven't gotten to that yet. And honestly, from my standpoint, we'll try to get it operational, but I'm not a Facebook person. I look at my wife's Facebook page. I can look at it and okay, that's another one of her flower pictures. Okay, looks good. I think I've seen those before. I saw it when we were walking. So, and I, all of the family things that she puts on. That's as much as I know about Facebook. And that's as much I really want to know.
Yeah.
I'm I know they keep talking about how addictive Facebook and all of these other things can be.
Can be.
And I have the position that I don't want to be connected because Beth can sit there for a minute or two longer than I can.
They used to see posts on the other Facebook page, but then it's kind of like died out.
Yeah.
But it's still sitting there. So,
Well, the website itself, as our community has turned over, probably want to communicate that through, the link so people are aware of it.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it, but
Yeah.
there's other people aware of it, but you have new community coming in and they're probably not aware.
and they really haven't put anything out about it because they don't have it finalized yet. And there's no sense in making people get frustrated because they can't use it.
Well, that's why I asked the question, because I know you guys got a new contract, so if you're gonna start to utilize it.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the gentleman to come in as far as I'm not a computer person, but I'm sure once he comes in, it's not going to take him long to fix it up. Get it right.
I think that's right.
All right. I've been asking for questions from the owners all along. Anybody got any other questions? Anybody out in outer space? Dan and Kathy, as board members, do you got any comments? Oh, okay. Anybody out there got a question?
Here's Kathy.
Oh, Kathy, go ahead.
Well, I just kind of was thinking of something that, with our HOAs having gone up a lot, is maybe at some point getting together a task force or committee to start looking at, to get everyone kind of involved with trying to find ways to cut some costs somewhere along the line. Just it always helps to have more input.
To add to that, everybody gets the financials, and in those
Yeah.
financials is the budget. So if you see anything in the budget you think that might, if there'd be a possibility of cutting, just bring it to us. Bring it to
Okay.
Barb. Barb gets it to us. But you can look at that anytime you want. It's there.
Oh yeah, and I look at it. It's just I thought sometimes it's just a lot for one person or whatever to maybe, if you have a group together saying, hey, should we look at other alternatives for whatever? It
Mhm.
just helps to kind of bring it, have
Oh, and
something in
as
writing.
what we've always said, you want to put a committee together, go ahead and put a committee together.
Okay.
Get your questions and things, bring them into the office gets them back to us, and then you'll get an answer on what, I mean, we are also governed by the state as far as what we
Right.
can and can't do.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead,
that
Mark.
was my question earlier about
Yeah.
the process. One of the things that I want to do, and if you guys are okay with it, I'm getting a handful of people on Zoom meetings to take all the data and just look at alternatives and things we can control. And one of the things we want to do away with, so we can afford, for instance, the 32K a year for pressure washer. Let's just buy a pressure washer and have the maintenance guys.
We have one, that's what they do.
It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just an idea, and it probably, I at least wrote it down.
That's why with the volunteers we've had this year, I've worked all winter long with Dennis Reed once he got here, and we just, project after project after project. Occasionally I get prices to do it from a contractor, and we just say, no, we can do that ourselves. And it's saving money left and right constantly. Jamie, the maintenance man, the newest maintenance man, he's got vast knowledge of a lot of stuff, and he saves us a ton of money. So, I mean, we're always on top of everything we can do to save money. There's just some things that we can't do, we can't handle. So,
Yep.
Anybody out on Zoom that would like to make a comment?
Yeah, it's Joe. Hey, when's Bucky's going in?
I heard by the end of 27, sometime in 27.
There's a huge pushback in Charlotte County against it, and they're getting a huge coalition.
Yeah, well, I don't think that'll happen. Not when you got the money they have. I don't think that'll happen. But Barb said there's a huge coalition going up against it. So,
One of it has to do with the Peace River and the impact.
Yeah.
So they've got an environmental person involved in this.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Dan or Kathy?
I second.
Second. Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
The guy's coming to pick up the check. Between 11 and 11:30. But he's supposed to know. Which one is this?